For someone who spends so much time pretending to be tough and macho, Donald Trump sure does hide a lot. He hides his scandals, hides his failures, and tries to cover up the crimes of his administration. And that is exactly what Donald Trump just got caught doing again, deleting a post that is blowing up another scandal, because every time Donald Trump tries a cover up, it ultimately backfires. We're going to get into how that happened, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into this latest cover-up in the post that Donald Trump got caught deleting, I want to start with how he is trying to hide in this current moment, and that is the history he's trying to hide, called out by Jasmine Crockett.
It's like there are certain people specifically on that side that anytime we want to discuss what has taken place as relates to Black people and how they took our labor, how they took our lives, how they ruined families, they never want the truth to come out because it hurts their feelings. It's kind of like when we decide to call a racist, such as these racist maps that are going through Texas. They always are upset when you just call them for what they are. But the reality is that we need to start speaking more truth if we are really going to get to the real power. And if we don't recognize the full history, then we are doomed to repeat it. And frankly, this is a guy that is trying to do everything that he can to repeat it. That is why there are so many people saying that if you wonder what you would have been doing during the civil rights movement, then the question is, what are you doing right now? Because we are literally living through a modern day civil rights fight, the fight in which there was a Texan who signed the Voting Rights Act into law because of these literacy tests and because of Jim Crow. And now, just the other day, what did he say? He wanted to get rid of mail-in ballot voting. This is a guy that wants to take us back. We knew that we had an opportunity not to go back. In fact, that was the theme of a campaign when she said, we won't go back. She knew what he wanted to do. And I am here to tell you that regardless of what he does, we are going to make sure that we are investing in sharing our history, our true history, our real stories, because there have been so many times in this country where they wanted to delete us, where they wanted to kill us. But Black people are survivors. We are the ones that made sure that we got through the Underground Railroad. We are the ones that made sure that somehow we went from slavery to the White House. We are the ones that if it meant that we were going to sing songs that nobody else understood, we will tell our stories regardless of what he does.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Absolutely.
I don't feel like the racist elements of Donald Trump's attacks on our democracy lately have gotten nearly enough coverage. Now, of course, we know this man is a bigot. We have learned that after too many years of him being in our lives, but it just hasn't been discussed enough. That Donald Trump is specifically trying to disenfranchise Black and brown voters in Texas, in Ohio, in Indiana, in Florida, everywhere that Donald Trump is carrying out a gerrymander, it is depriving people of color from their right to vote. That is Donald Trump's intention. And it's not just depriving them the right to vote in the way that they draw these maps up. Donald Trump is specifically sending out his goons, his thugs, to intimidate and scare people. That is what he ultimately wants. He is so weak, so feckless, so insecure that he needs to intimidate. And it is the reason why we see Donald Trump attacking American history, because he doesn't want us to understand it as he repeats it. Donald Trump doesn't want us to understand history so he can carry out his own fascist takeover, so he can employ the same racist attacks, this racist fear-mongering that has been used throughout history. That is what Donald Trump is covering up. And he started doing it even more in an insane post that led to a deletion blowing up in his face. So earlier this week, Donald Trump wrote that the museums in Washington are woke and out of control, and he doesn't really know how bad slavery was and wants the woke to go away because woke is broke, and he wants the museums to become the hottest in the country again. It was really just a racist tirade. So Donald Trump shares that blabbering nonsense, and of course the White House is going to repost it, share it from their official account on Instagram and on TikTok. And our friends at Midas Touch responded to it, and do you know what? I'll just let you hear the rest from them.
So it appears that the White House just deleted our comment on their Instagram posts. So today, the official White House Instagram account shared this post from Donald Trump that he made yesterday. I'm sure you saw this, where he said that museums like the Smithsonian are out of control and that he's instructing his attorneys to do a review of all the museums throughout the country because they're speaking about things like how bad slavery was in the United States. And so I figured we could leave a comment from Midas Touch, just, set him straight a little bit. So we wrote, Donald, slavery was bad. Pretending otherwise does not make you patriotic. It makes you a liar. Erasing history is what dictators do, not presidents. And soon after we posted that comment, it started getting a lot of attention. It was getting a lot of likes, and it was one of the first things that people saw when they went to that post. So then a little bit later, one of our followers wrote this to us: the White House deleted your comment. Thanks for calling this out, Cody. And so we checked, and sure enough, our comment was nowhere to be found. It looks like it was totally deleted. So they're scared of us, huh? They're scared of the truth being out there. But here's the best part: they can't block all of us. So here are all the other comments that you all made. We see people writing "Stay woke" button and all the likes. This is textbook fascist AF, but what do I know? Deport Trump button. I can't believe this is the official page of the USA White House. How embarrassing. Stay woke, stay vigilant, resist this administration. And those comments now go on and on and on. So if the White House thought that they could silence us, oh, they are very mistaken.
Donald Trump is so afraid, his White House is so afraid of just a little intellectual scrutiny, getting called out for their very obvious undermining of the real narrative of American history, that they have to delete a post from Midas Touch calling them out on their bullshit. If that isn't pathetic, I don't know what is. They're afraid of a comment on an Instagram post, a comment on a TikTok post, a comment below a tweet. That is what they are terrified of. That's the strength of the Republican Party, by the way, for you. These are people who cannot hold up to intellectual scrutiny. It is the reason they try to undermine facts, try to undermine statistics, and obviously try to undermine and lie about history, because they can't face facts. They can't face reality. It's why they have to live in their alternate reality under their cult mindset with Donald Trump. But that cult, that mindset, that fake reality is being shattered right now. It is being blown up by people who are willing to call them out and stand up to Trump. And of course, you know who I'm talking about. And Governor Gavin Newsom, who just made a huge announcement today in California that I want to take a look at, because this is a big, big deal.
First, just briefly back up and pick up a little bit on what the Speaker and the Pro Tem said, and just remind everybody what they reminded you, that need to be reminded, all of us again, of how we got here. We got here because the President of the United States is struggling. We got here because the President of the United States is one of the most unpopular presidents in U.S. history. We got here because he recognizes that he will lose the election. Congress will go back into the hands of the Democratic Party next November. We got here because of his failed policies. Those are being exposed hour by hour, reinforced today by Walmart announcing they'll be raising prices because of the tax increases, because of the tariffs. Reminded every day by a slowing economy, growing mistrust, distrust all across this nation, across the board. He is failing. He recognized that, and that's why he made a phone call to Greg Abbott asking for 5 seats. Can't win by playing by traditional sets of rules. He plays by no rules. I remind you all the time, it's not the rule of law, it's the rule of Don. And we're standing up to that. We're responding to that. They fired the first shot, Texas. We wouldn't be here had Texas not done what they just did. Donald Trump didn't do what he just did. He went so far as to follow up and say that he didn't just want those 5 seats. He said he's, quote unquote, entitled to those 5 seats. Just pause and reflect on that. Everything should have just stopped there. President of the United States claiming he's entitled to 5 seats. That should put chills up your spine. Every Republican, not just Democrat and Independent, every American. Those enduring values that we celebrate, just celebrated 249 years, the best of the Roman Republic, Greek democracy, the rule of law, co-equal branches of government, popular sovereignty. What we'll celebrate, will we? Next year, the 250th anniversary. Masked men masked men at the site of the Japanese that were interned and bussed in Little Tokyo last week in Los Angeles were sent right there in front of the Democracy Center as we kicked off this effort. That's a preview of things to come all across the United States of America. Mark my word, just as we let folks know what was going to happen in other cities, what is happening in Washington, D.C., we said 2 months ago, Los Angeles is a preview of things to come with the federalization of the National Guard, with the militarization of the streets of America. And I'll remind you, Donald Trump never sent the military, active duty military, in his first term or now even his second term, anywhere overseas. He sent them to a United States city. They remain federalized National Guard, interestingly, through Election Day.
I am going to, and this is a promise that I'm making to you, in every video in which I praise Gavin Newsom, at the same time, talk about how we need Governor Pritzker, Governor Hochul, and Governor Moore to stop trying to sound like Gavin Newsom and to act like Gavin Newsom. We need them to fight back. Not with their words, not with a strongly worded letter, Chuck Schumer, not with a press conference and a couple of clips that go up on Instagram. No. Stop the podcast appearances, get the plan together, and pass the damn map. That's what we want to see. We want to see, in the words of Gavin Newsom's press office Twitter account, the great big beautiful maps. We love the maps. They're the best maps. And Gavin Newsom's the hottest governor. It's what they've all said. Melania says it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that. It's a terrible Trump impression. I got to cut it out. But I'm serious. That's not serious. This is serious. Do your damn job. You think Trump is a threat? He is. Act like it. Stop telling me. Show me. We are in show, don't tell Democratic Party mode, okay? Show me how much you care. Don't tell me. Don't write it out. Don't have your comms team make a little post about it. Maybe we actually do something, because you can do something. Governor Walz, he can't, unfortunately, or I'm sure Minnesota would be a deep blue state. All right? Unfortunately, he doesn't have the legislator for it. But you other governors, Jared Polis too, you can get lumped in. I know you said you're not going to do that, but that's just kind of a pathetic move. Get out there. Please, just fight. It is what we want to see. We're going to keep calling for it. And I'm going to need y'all to just go to their Twitter accounts, go to their Instagram pages. Their teams are going to see this. Have your voice heard. I don't want to say like harass them, but like just message constantly. That's what we're going to be doing on this show. We're going to be pushing Democrats. We're not letting the entrenched establishment slow us down. We're going to fight back. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.